Hello dear survivors, welcome back to new amazing Frost Vortex M416 build with high DPS, and I show my DPS in every dungeon silos, with proof this is best elemental build for high DPS damage and show all mods armory Cradle, so let's go to the build. I am ENDGAME for 16 6-star max level at Calibration max. Best armor set is for set shelter and 1 Bastille set for weapon damage, and 1 key armor camo gloves for high DPS. Best mods for helmet, gloves, shoes, top are Deviation, Expert Talent, or Construct. Frost Vortex is best mod for mask and it's totally increase your DPS, and Elemental Overload is best mods for camo gloves, and best food buff is hot dogs and spring roll dumplings increase elemental. Welcome everybody, this is MANHENIUM. This guide will go over how to build the Frost. They are silent Anabasis, so let's get started right away with its weapon features. 15% chance to trigger Frost Vortex on hit. And what is Frost Vortex? Frost Vortex is a continuous OW that deals damage to enemies within a 4.5 m radius, inflicting 30% S intensity of status SL elemental damage per second for up to 4 seconds, by default up to 2. Frost Vortexes may exist at any time. This additional damage is a frost element, cannot crit, cannot strike weak spots, and will not decay with distance. So coming back to the next weapon features, hitting a target generates an ice crystal with a cooldown of 1.5 seconds per crystal spawn day, automatically shatter after 15 seconds, dealing 100% sign intensity to nearby targets. However, if you destroy them yourself, that will increase the damage. The deal to 350% sensitivity instead, which is where this gun will deal lots of its damage. Then lastly, Frost Elemental damage plus 30% with an additional 8% per ice crystal shattered for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So knowing this is an elemental oriented weapon with its bread and butter being the ice crystals, let's move on to the calibration. So for the calibration, we're going to want to use rapid shot style. Aside from getting more DPS from bullets, you will also spawn Frost Vortexes quicker, since the more bullets you shoot, the faster you start spawning Frost Vortexes, and the shorter the delay. Substats go for to elemental damage. Bonuses for the accessories, I went accessories with the stability setup, which uses the range compensator, the compact reflex sight, and the tactical combined grip. However, for the magazine, this is going to depend on how many times you can spawn ice crystals per mag. Ideally it's at least 2, and for me I have no magazine capacity substats, so I have to use the extended rifle mag. But if you do happen to have the magazine capacity to spawn to ice crystals with the light rifle mag, then you should use that instead. Key gear. Before I move on to the key gear and everything else, if you've been enjoying my guides or wish to see more of them, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and drop a like for this video, and also hit me up in the comments for the next gun guide you'd like to see. But for now, moving on to the key gear, you're going to want to use the snow camo gloves, so when an ice crystal shatters, for additional ice missiles will launch at nearby enemies, dealing status damage equal to 50% S intensity to targets hit. And so these gloves are obviously made for the Anabasis, since well, the Anabasis spawns crystals. And what do these gloves do? Well, these gloves provide additional damage when the ice crystals are shattered, and to add on to a bin mod changes that buff these gloves as well. Moving on to gear sets that they've received a buff since their amount of weapon and status damage bonus key by the 3-piece stretches tides effect, so 50% weapon and 50% status. And if you want to decrease your sanity, you can easily do it by eating either spoiled food, which reduces your sanity by 200 points, or oranges, which decreases your sanity by 100. Though if you do use spoiled food, you're going to have to use antibiotic to heal up the gastric effect to buff. And now the cool thing about the sanity decrease is that it doesn't automatically get healed by your gears. Pollution resist. And then for the 2-piece, you're either going to want to use 2-piece shelter for the permanent 8% elemental damage bonus, or the 2-piece black stone effect, or 2-piece blackstone for up to 10% Elemental damage bonus now if you don't care too much about maximizing your damage to the point of keeping L. Sanity levels, then you can just use 3-piece shelter for 28% elemental damage and use either 2-piece 601 treacherous to get extra 12% weapon and status damage bonus, or 2-piece savior for 10% instead for the cradle buffs. Cradle. These are the cradle you want to equip. If you're in a lunar server, you're going to want to run anti-void for the assault rifle damage tactical combo for the weapon damage bonus status enhancement. For the status damage bonus deviant, energy defense for its survivability. Chaotic thoughts for the damage reduction and damage bonus. Now here I give you 30% damage reduction, and here is the same thing that happens with chaotic thoughts. It says that it's only reduction against deviants, but its damage reduction actually applies to any type of enemy as well. So if I just equip it and I check out my stat sheet, you can see that here it's 40%, so the 10% from chaotic thoughts plus the 30% from resilience for your secondary weapons, secondary and melee. You have the choice between bingo and wildfire, so pretty much if the boss has enemy with a heavy strike, and that enemy can be anything, so here it can literally be the sticky ice crystals produced by the ice po deviation. So if I show it right here with the knife equipped, I'm at a P intensity of 125. Now the jump isn't going to be that big since I don't have any gears equipped, but if I were to show you, I'm going to destroy this thing, and now I'm actually at 150 P intensity. Of course, the more P intensity you have with all of the gears, the more S intensity you'll get for the food buffs. Food. Starting with the food slot, you're going to want to eat mixed right hot dog to gain bonus damage against marked targets now as a weaker alternative, and if you're bossing, you could eat bone and deviated sausage for a bit less percentage buff.
Mannheim, these samples are amazing. But the one I truly want is missing. If you won't give me what I want, you have no use. Or perhaps you are.
No one can hold back the march of evolution! Don't touch your samples! Feel around the train! I don't allow intruders in my laboratory! Samples! My research! You ignorant fool! You will never understand the beauty of stardust! Well, that takes care of Dr. Mannheim. But still no sign of Eve or Kelly. They must have been taken somewhere else, but fragments of Eve's memories are growing stronger. Stay alert, the memory fragments lead right to this door. Place.
Here is a safe place. No one to disturb the children's dreams. Yes, here, right here. Kelly, my darling. Come to mommy. Kelly, my darling child. Rest now. I'm here. Ah, an uninvited guest. Tell me, do you dream?
Oh my god, it's Eve!
No one can wake your dreams.
What life is immune to damage?